Jurassic Park is one of the most successful film franchises of all time, and this is in large part due to the incredible music which accompanies the on-screen action. It was the first film which brought home to me how important great orchestral composition can be in encapsulating the emotion, plot and character arcs of a great movie.
We have a T-Rex.
Wow.
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sattler. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
John Williams' orchestral writing here inspires awe just as much as the dinosaurs which these characters are seeing for the first time. It's just one example of a film score which adds a layer of emotional depth which is otherwise unattainable.
How'd you do this? I'll show you.
As much as a film score like Jurassic Park can inspire awe with triumphant brass fanfares and lush string writing, a film like Psycho requires music which frightens its audience, both by capturing the building tension throughout the movie and its most horrific moments, like this one. Bernard Herrmann, who composed the music for Psycho, develops themes throughout the movie for each of the main characters, but this motif is entirely unique and shocking. Dissonant, aggressive string chords, high in their register, mimic the stabbing motion of Norman Bates as he murders Marion Crane. A far cry from Psycho indeed is Cinema Paradiso, a film which won the BAFTA for Best Original Score in 1991. Ennio Morricone's love theme here tugged at the heartstrings of global audiences as the main character Salvatore reminisces about lost love. The reason I'm sharing these examples of great film scores is to display how important music can be in taking the plot, character arcs and storylines of movies to the next level. Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island, which came out in 2010, is a masterful depiction of the fictional character Andrew Laedis, a mentally unstable war villain who believes himself to be a police detective, Teddy Daniels. Max Richter, who collated significant 20th century orchestral works and wrote his own compositions for the movie, accompanies the opening shot of Shutter Island with 3 ominous and low concert Ds in the strings. He takes this threatening passage of music from the Passacaglia of Penderecki's Third Symphony. The audience can't help but see the island from these 2 characters' point of view, as an ominous and evil establishment which can't be trusted right from the outset. As the film continues, Max Richter begins to use music which he composed to display the inherently good characteristics of this fake alter ego, Teddy Daniels. Nostalgic flashbacks of Teddy's supposed life before the war with his wife Dolores and children are accompanied by music such as On the Nature of Daylight, which features a slow and mournful solo violin melody over a chordal string accompaniment. Here is the lead-up into the introduction of the island. Listen out for Penderecki's 3-note unison motif in the low strings, which builds up with dissonant interjections from the French horn, amongst other instruments.
Jacket before I government employees are robbed you blind. Thanks. Give you a briefing about the institution before you left. All I know is it's a mental hospital. For the criminally insane. Well, if it's just folks running around hearing voices and chasing after butterflies, they wouldn't need us. So where we're headed?
Yep. The other side of the island is Rock Bluffs. All the way down to the edge of the water. The dock. It's the only way on. Or off. We'll be casting off as soon as you two are ashore. I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry up about it.
Why?
Storm's coming.
Never seen a marshal's badge before. I'm Deputy Warden McPherson, gentlemen. Welcome to Shutter Island. I'll be the one taking you up to Ashcliff.
As the film progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that Teddy Daniels can't live with his true identity, Andrew Laedis. Music such as this Penderecki, which portray the island in a negative light, ebb away. And music like On the Nature of Daylight, a slow and mournful melody which depicts the true sadness of Andrew Laedis' story, comes to the fore. In the final scene of the movie, Laedis sums up his conflict in the most powerful and simple line.
You know, this place makes me wonder.
Yeah, what's that, boss?
Which would be worse? To live as a monster? Or to die as a good man?
For love. Tom went downhill fast after that.
The music of Tom and Jerry is much less subtle than that of Shutter Island. With brilliant orchestration and composition, it perfectly accompanies the mood of each scene. It's difficult to ignore that the music is crucial in this context, as both the main characters don't speak, and it is integral to the plot of each episode. Pay attention here to a technique known as Mickey Mousing, that is, orchestral instruments reflecting the action on screen through techniques such as pizzicato, glissandi, and arpeggios to mimic the movements of the two main characters the audience sees. Lord of the Rings is the film score which I've found most fascinating to analyse. Howard Shore, the composer for the trilogy, is masterful in his ability to match the quasi-Nordic mythological themes throughout, whilst evoking varying emotions and highlighting plot and character development. What sets his scores apart from other films is his ability to introduce leitmotifs, a technique used by Wagner and Puccini, amongst other opera composers, to depict the development of characters within their storylines. A leitmotif is a short melodic fragment connected to a character, place, object, or concept, and can be particularly useful when outlining the different contexts or developments of each of these things. One leitmotif Shaw uses is the Gondor theme. The leitmotif is first used in this scene in The Fellowship of the Ring, as the characters discuss Gondor. Played in a stately manner by a solo French horn, the music helps to portray an historic kingdom whose strength has waned.
Why not use this ring? Long has my father, the steward of Gondor, kept the forces of Mordor at bay. By the blood of our people are your lands kept safe. Give Gondor the weapon of the enemy. Let us use it against him.
You cannot wield it. None of us can. The One Ring answers.
The theme can also be heard here in the third film, as Saruman sullies Aragorn's name and his claim to the throne of Gondor. Heard low in the bass trombone, this motif helps to bring home the sinister personality of this evil character.
Will ever sit upon the throne of Gondor. This exile, crept from the shadows, will never be crowned king. Gandalf does not hesitate to sacrifice those closest to him.
On the whole, it is impossible to deny that Howard Shaw's music significantly deepens the plot and character development throughout the trilogy. However, I believe that in one scene in The Two Towers, the on-screen action can be reflected in multiple ways which aren't explored by Shaw. In this scene, Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli are chasing after their friends Merry and Pippin, who have been taken captive by Saruman's soldiers. Rather than reflecting the immediate danger which the hobbits Merry and Pippin face, Howard Shaw chooses to focus on the heroism of these three characters and the landscape displayed by brilliant camera work. Rather than analyse the original music used, I've composed and recorded 4 ideas with my brass septet, which hopefully highlight different aspects of this storyline. The stacked dissonance and constant crotchets in the bass trombone and tuba represent the distant and fading danger of the marching orcs, and the tiered dynamics match the camera, which zooms out whilst it focuses on these three characters. My second idea is more on the nose, taking inspiration from Bernard Herrmann's offset fugal motif in The Cellar from his score for Psycho. I aimed to reflect the immediate and grave danger the hobbits are in. My third idea intends to reflect the hobbits' hopelessness as these three characters rush in vain. It also happens to contain an interesting chord sequence, which I wanted to include. My fourth and final idea takes inspiration from Anton Bruckner's brass writing and uses a chord progression in Moonlight from Benjamin Britten's 4 sea interludes. I'd like to thank my brass septet, the Whitworth Septet, for their help in recording these ideas. That is Ben Jarvis and Cameron Chinsey on trumpet, Archie Young Lee, Ollie Bartlett and Josh Cargill on trombone, and Matt Late on tuba. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you an insight into how music can both aid and subvert the action on screen. Thanks very much for watching.